Hi everyone, I'm Shaylin here with Reedsy. So today we're going to be talking about the 7 habits of successful writers. So last week we talked about 6 really common reasons why people do not finish their manuscripts. Today we're going to be talking about 7 things that successful writers do that actually help them complete their manuscripts. These are all habits that are so beneficial to develop in your writing process, skills and mindsets that can be the difference between continually giving up on projects and actually being able to see manuscripts through to the end. If you see yourself in this list, it might be a sign that you're on the right track. And if you feel like these are things you haven't implemented in your writing process yet, they may be skills that it's worth trying to develop. Number 1, knowing how to write through problems. Problems are going to appear in a draft and in editing and in basically every draft of your book. Maybe the most important thing that a successful writer can do is know how to work through problems. When they reach a problem, whether that's a problem with their process, such as feeling low on motivation, or whether that's a problem in the book, something that isn't working, you're stuck in the actual manuscript, one of the most important skills is knowing how to work through it and write through it, and knowing which strategies to implement to help you through it. On the flip side, writers who tend to struggle to finish manuscripts will kind of just derail at the first sign of any problem. Maybe the most important skill that a writer can have is the ability to just commit to working through problems, and eventually you'll kind of gather a toolkit of solutions that you can apply to various problems, but it does take time to develop those skills and know how to work through problems. But the way to work through problems is to actually face them, not just to kind of wallow and hope that it solves itself, because it probably won't. Number 2, not letting hypotheticals stop them. It can be so easy in the writing process to get caught up in all these hypotheticals. What if people don't like it? What if I get a bad review? What if I can't get an agent? These are normal things to worry about, but for some writers, they can be the thing that prevents them from even finishing their book. Whereas I would say that successful writers know how to write for themselves and keep focused on their goals and their vision for the story without getting caught up in hypotheticals that certainly don't apply at this stage of the process. If you're writing the first draft, it's too early to be worrying about bad reviews. And so I think successful writers know how to just kind of brush those worries off and not get caught up in those worries. Number 3, they view ups and downs in the writing process as normal. Writing a book is a long task, and there are going to be ups and downs in the process. There are going to be times where it feels so effortless and other times where you feel like you cannot write a sentence. I would say that for successful writers, the skill isn't never having those problems. It's knowing that it's normal and not letting it stop them. When they hit some kind of block, they don't take it as a sign that they can't write or that they're a bad writer. They know that this is a normal part of the writing process. They know how to work through that. Whereas I think that a lot of writers who struggle to complete manuscripts take any kind of problem as a sign that maybe they're a bad writer, which is again just a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you stop writing because you think that this means you're a bad writer, well then you're never going to write the book, so you're never going to become a better writer. Successful writers who know that they can complete manuscripts, know that it's going to be an up and down process, and know how to kind of just go with the flow. Number 4, they view writing as fun rather than as a chore. I think one of the worst things you can do for your writing process is start to view it as a chore of some kind. You're never going to want to do it, and so you probably aren't going to finish the manuscript. Successful writers know how to frame writing as something fun, something creative, and that motivates them to want to do it even more. Whereas I think writers who start to frame writing as a chore then need to create these elaborate systems to motivate them and force themselves to write, which then continually reinforces to them that writing is a chore and something they have to force themselves to do. Whereas writers who are able to view writing as something fun and something fulfilling or relaxing or exciting continually want to write more because it's fun, and so then they end up writing more. It's not to say that schedules or goals are bad, and I think that you can still view writing as fun while still having some kind of framework that helps keep you on track. I think mentally framing writing as fun rather than a chore is so important. Number 5, they know how to take breaks without getting derailed. Breaks are so important to a creative process. I don't really know any writers who can just write continually every single day without any breaks. Breaks are really important to avoid burnout and to just keep up your energy. You will start to get really drained, write less, the writing will become quite a slog to get through if you never allow yourself any break. But I think the problem is when breaks turn into just never writing at all. They can turn into writing some. Successful writers know when to take breaks, and they also know how to take breaks effectively so that those breaks don't just go on indefinitely and don't completely derail their process. And so when they come back to writing after a break, they have more energy. Number 6, doing what their project needs. I think successful writers know how to adjust and prioritize what their project needs. Rather than worrying about having the perfect editing process, they're able to look at their manuscript and do what that book needs. People who are able to continually successfully complete manuscripts are able to look at their book, identify the problems or identify the problems that are preventing them from writing, and do what that book needs. There's a certain flexibility that comes with that, being able to make little adjustments to your writing process or big adjustments if you need to in order to suit what your project needs and also what you need at that time. And finally, number 7 is not needing the perfect circumstances to write. One really common cause of procrastination is feeling like everything needs to be perfect and the stars all have to align in order to write. You need to have the perfect workspace that is perfectly organized and perfectly decorated with not a single distraction, and you have to be in a good mood, and you have to have a specific type of tea, etc, etc, etc. I think it can be easy to create a list of conditions that are needed for you to write, and then if not all of them are perfectly met, then you just don't write. And this is a really common form of procrastination, is blaming it on external circumstances and waiting for the perfect circumstances to write. The perfect circumstances will almost never be there. There's always going to be something that's going to be maybe putting you in a bad mood or kind of distracting you or just preventing the perfect writing circumstances. And I think successful writers know how to write, maybe not in any circumstance, but they don't wait around for the perfect circumstances to write. And if you are someone who has very specific circumstances you need to create to write, the important thing is to be able to create those circumstances rather than just waiting for them. If you're just waiting around for the perfect ideal circumstance to write, it will probably never happen. And so I think it's good to recognize that this is a form of procrastination. There's something deeper here, some kind of maybe fear of actually writing the book. And so you either need to let go of these perfect circumstances or create them for yourself. So those are the 7 habits of successful writers. I think these are some of the 7 most valuable skills that a writer can have to help them actually get to the end of a draft and see it through multiple rounds of revision. What would you say has been the most helpful skill that you have developed as a writer that has helped you complete manuscripts? I think for me, it's been trusting my ability to edit in the future. It's easy to not write at all when you feel like it has to be perfect, but just trusting in my ability to edit later has made the writing process a lot easier because I don't have to fret about making mistakes. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos from us. We've got new writing, editing, and publishing tips every Tuesday and Friday. Until next time, bye.